Life is sweet. Let it sweep you off your feet.
Hi, this is Allie, and this is Find Your Joy. And I am so excited today to have an amazing young woman on. Olivia Hahn is an author. She is a public speaker. She is a motivational, inspirational, do it all kind of gal already at 16. Blows my mind. And there is so much more that I'm really excited to learn about. Olivia, welcome.
Thank you.
So let's, get this part. I'm just going to say it's Mother's Day and your book. Now you're going to be able to, you just correct me as I go along here. My understanding is you lost your mom, you were 15,
Yes.
and you were looking for some books, some way to process this. And when you couldn't find one, you wrote one.
Yes.
So that's
correct.
big. That's a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
And so here we are now, Mother's Day. And you know what? Your dad and I talked about this when we were setting up for today. And then I thought, oh my gosh, this is going to be a Mother's Day. So first, my first stupid question will be, and there will be many, I promise.
Okay.
It's Mother's Day. How are you doing?
For now, I'm all right. But there's lots of reminders. Like there's always on Instagram, all my friends are posting Happy Mother's Day and all these things. And then I had dance yesterday and the ballet teacher was like, don't forget to hug and kiss your moms. And it's just always these reminders that's oh my gosh, well, I can't do that. So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
really
that's hard. That's hard.
Yeah.
And you know what? I was, I don't know, I was in my 50s when I lost my mom, and it was hard. So I can't even get my head around what it's been like for you. And I suppose the other part of it, though, is that you've written this book. And when I read it, I know that it's a lot about helping other people and for yourself to process it. And it's also, I've called it crushingly beautiful and healing at the same time, because your words, one of the first poems that I read, grief is a gunshot. Tell me a little bit about how that, I mean it's obvious, I get that part, right? So but your words are powerful and your analogies are so vivid, and it's so easy. It draws a picture to our mind. Mm-hmm. So where did you come up with that? Where did you're sitting? I would love to hear a little bit about how you wrote that.
Yeah. So it was in the beginning few months of my grief, and I was just kind of getting into writing. And I had I forget what day it was, but I had come home from school and I was feeling all these things, and I just took out my laptop and started typing, and it just kind of all came out onto the paper, and I kind of left it for a few months, and then I rediscovered it, and I was whoa, I was how did I write that? That, right. I didn't even, yeah, it's crazy to go back and that's how I felt, but it was yeah.
Yeah. And I think that I'm a writer, and I think most writers, we would say, many writers, I would say, we write something and then need to read it later because it just poured out of us. We don't even know what it said. Yeah. So since then, so you wrote this book and you're a self-published author.
Yes.
And what was you around when did you release it, and the things I'm looking at, all that's happening? Like,
It was just this March.
okay, so your book came out in March.
Yeah, yeah.
Awesome. Now, since March, you've been doing speaking engagements. Now, were your speaking engagements before the book came out, or has that all been happening since then?
All been happening since then.
My gosh. So that's like in 2 months. This is just taken
Yeah,
off.
it's a lot. Yeah.
That, and how does that even feel for you? Like you wrote this book as a way to purge, I'm guessing, and a way to heal and hopefully to help. And then now you've been on Global, and you've been on so much. Like, what's that like?
Um, it feels really good to like be able to know that I'm like reaching a bunch of people who really like need that,
Yeah.
like need that support. And that's like the whole reason why I wrote it is, of course, to help myself, but also I knew that there's like other teens who are going through the same thing and need a resource. Um, but then also like having to repeat talking about it a lot is like a lot. Like after it feels like I've just been like emptied like all over again. It's a lot of like it's good though, but it's a lot of
It's
like
no, but it
going back
is.
to yeah.
Are you okay if we chat about that a little bit?
Yeah,
Like
for
when
sure.
that, so I'm guessing, I don't know, but I'm going to guess that you maybe didn't expect those feelings,
Yeah,
and
I didn't.
that it would bring up stuff again, and that those feelings come up again, and that and so I'm guessing there'll be a whole other book on that.
Probably.
Yeah, and that's something, I think that's a really good point, is that when we share this stuff, I know that when I shared my book, and then people, my book is all on healing from trauma, and I know that people started contacting me and talking about their own trauma, and I have years of experience dealing with that. So I'm imagining when if to pour out your heart, and I just want to say this, like your book, I get it that you're a teen and that your focus might be for teens, but I'm a nana
Yeah.
and I got things for myself. I mean, it's really powerful, Olivia. It's raw,
Mm.
and it's vulnerable, and it's honest, and you are an exceptional wordsmith.
Thank
You do
you.
that really well. And so when it first started happening, and people are asking you questions, and you're going on, how are you processing that? What ways are you
Um,
using to process that?
I kind of am one to like internalize things and like bottle things up a lot. So I kind of am like used to just like being brave and like kind of
Mm.
doing that. So like, but then after like I've been asked all these questions, then it's like I'm left with like feeling like I'm like sinking in my stomach or something. I don't know. It's just
Right.
like there's like all these feelings that I had before that all like just came out and they're still there. Like there's nothing to like do with them, I guess. Like
Right. Well, and
yeah.
you talk about that, right? Is it, what did, I'm going to try to, just remember this right off the top of my head. 5 myths about grieving. Is
Yes.
that, and one of them that you talk about is like, that there's like going to be some end to this thing.
Yeah.
And for you, it's very fresh. Like it's
Mhm.
only just over a year, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's still really fresh. So, um, yeah, that's amazing. Okay, but from all of this, so
Yes.
you've had a speaking engagement at UVic.
Yes.
You're going to be speaking at a high school, at St. Andrew's
Yeah.
High School.
I'm really excited.
Yeah. Well, tell me about that. Like what are you going to be sharing? I mean, I know it'll be a big surprise for them, but what kinds of things do you share typically when you're going to go speaking?
Um, a lot of it is I kind of let the people ask me things, and then I'll kind of like go off from there because like there's a lot of like stigma around grief and death that like I want to try and like change that, I guess.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I'm gonna be like speaking to a group of like 15 teenagers, I think. Um, and they can just kind of like ask me anything and we can just like have more like a conversation rather than like me like just blah blah blah.
Yeah. Oh,
I
that's
think that's more
awesome.
effective.
Yeah, and how wonderful for them that they
Yeah,
actually get some intimate one-on-one time with
yeah.
you. And are they maybe kids who are going through a similar thing, or
I think they will be, yeah.
wow, that's going to be powerful for all of
Mhm.
you.
Yeah.
So, and then your book has so the cancer clinic is
Mhm.
having it. The funeral home has put it in part of their package. I mean, this is huge. This is just, it's really impacting people.
Yeah.
I was thinking about, I'm just going to some of the things because I really, people, anyone listening, if to get this book, tell us the full name of this book.
It's called Healing Our Wounded Hearts, a real life story about loss in the voice of a teenager.
Yeah. And the way, like, I'm just going to, a few things that you've said.
Yeah.
So you felt like in some of your poems, um, that that it was like a puzzle piece was missing and it could never be put back.
Yeah.
It felt like you'd been kidnapped and there was no way to escape. Um, it felt like a gunshot and that it had like ripped through your stomach.
Mm.
I mean, these are such powerful analogies for exactly how it feels. And
Yeah.
it's just, so I just want everyone to know, like, if you have a teen who has lost someone or is about to, or anyone, like I'm thinking of a very my godson passed very unexpectedly a few years ago, and his mom is processing, and I'm definitely gonna. I bought the book for myself. I'm definitely gonna buy the book for her, because this is a book that is it's so well written, but at the same time, it's raw.
Yeah.
It's
It's very raw.
it is raw, and I love that.
Yeah.
I love that about it
Yeah.
really captures how it feels.
Because I didn't want it to be like another book that's just like about grief that's like putting flowers all over it, like the pain, whatever. So like, because like um grief and death doesn't get like talked about very much, and that's why like especially as young people, but also for like everyone, when we get there, it can feel very like isolating because we don't know how to deal with it. We've never like learned about how to deal with it or like anything. Yeah.
Right. I I don't even I can only imagine the songs and poems that were poured of me, let alone you, that line that you didn't want another book where flowers were just put all over it around the subject of death. And I
Yeah.
think that's part of what makes your book so incredible is although it's lovely and I love the pictures of your mom and your
Yeah.
family and and that helps us all to feel like we can really take a look in and see what life
Yeah.
was like before a diagnosis
Yeah.
and sadly a death. But the flowers on it, and I think that's the part, right? Because
It is.
so many times books try or we always want to just make each other feel better.
Yeah.
It's And that's because of our discomfort, right? If
Mhm.
if someone is hurting, what do we want to do right away? What do we say? A little child falls down and hurts themselves and starts to cry. What? Don't cry, don't cry. It's
Yeah.
going to be okay. Well, no, it flipping hurts, and I just want to
Yeah.
scream for a while. And
Mhm.
I think what I love about your book is it hurt, and you just screamed for a while.
Yeah.
And I really, really felt that. And I think anyone reading this book, that's what they're going to feel. I I don't want to forget to ask you about the dance that you do, like
Yes.
like literal dance. You're a ballet dancer. You're a
Yes.
ballerina.
Yeah.
Clearly, I've watched a few videos. So you've been studying. How long have you been studying ballet?
Since I was 2 years old.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so that
Yeah.
it's I watched some stuff that you did on the beach.
Yeah.
A video. I don't remember where I saw that from, but I saw it. It was so beautiful. So the dance therapy, and I know I'm skipping around a lot here because we have a
All good.
limited amount of time. What I really want is to have you on, basically 400 or 500 more times to
Yeah.
cover everything that you
For
do.
sure.
And that might be able to fit in the
Yeah,
wonder that is
maybe.
Olivia. So the dance therapy, is this for you, or do you do dance therapy with others too?
This is
Maybe
just
both.
for me.
Okay.
Um, I really got into it more in like, I guess the last few weeks mostly, um, or months, I guess. Um, because like sometimes when I can't find the words to what I'm feeling, dance is like a big way that I can express it.
Yes.
Because sometimes I just like feel super like all these things. I can feel it in my body, and I'm just like, I just need to like move. And like, I love going to the beach because it's like in nature and the water, and like
Mm,
it's just it feels good to like
yes.
have a change of scenery as well.
Well, I saw it, and I could feel the passion behind it, and the angst. There was angst in it that was so lovely, Olivia. Really, really lovely. And it's funny because I thought, um, we do wellness retreats. I have a team of people, and I thought, I wonder if Olivia does dance. Dance therapy.
Yes,
So let me tell you, um, there may just be a time when I'm going to contact you and
I
say,
would love to do that. I would
wouldn't that
love
be
to do that.
amazing? And you
It
just
would
come
be
look at
amazing.
them. It is. Because when I saw it, I thought the first thing I thought was, I think this might be for her, and I think this could be, not that I'm trying to carve out your career for you,
I know,
but also a way to help others too, because
definitely.
you do it's a very free form
Yeah,
flow of dance. It's much like, I paint, so I might paint something realism. Where my healing lies is I'm just paint, like it's just, I'm
yeah,
I might it might be about how it feels or what I slap onto it, or maybe the colors have something to do with it, but that's where my healing comes out, is that type of painting.
yeah. Like I'll like go to my ballet class, and then right after I'll like go down to the beach and just like put in my own music and just like free dance. Because like I had that like rigid class, which is very like I love ballet and I love having that structure.
Yes.
But then and then I'm like now I can dance for myself and like for letting it all out.
It's beautiful. Well, you know what it reminds me of is musically, when we're training to, I don't know if you play an instrument other than everything else that you already do, but you learn when you learn to either read music or you learn scales, it's because you learn all that so that you can do this other thing, like your dance. Because
Mhm.
without all that, I get it, without all that structure that feels like sometimes restrictive, maybe you would
Yeah.
not be able to so beautifully
Mhm.
perform. although what I was watching wasn't a performance, it was more a cathartic, just a release of so much. It was really powerful and beautiful. So where do you perform? Do you? Are you performing? Can people go see you?
Um, not really.
Not right. Oh, they will
I,
be. I'm pretty sure
they will be.
they will be. I see it all now, Olivia.
Yeah.
We'll be we'll be
I would love to perform for people though. That's like I'd love to do that. I love being on stage.
well, and we
Like,
can talk after about this because
yeah,
I'm thinking you have the book, you're
yes.
doing hello Rolo, you're doing talks. It's okay. We One of my favorite dogs ever, who is no longer with us, his name was Rolo, and he was
Oh,
magnificent. He was a
that's so cute.
magnificent, beautiful
Yeah.
dog. But there is a way. It's like me, writing and painting and doing sound therapy and art therapy. It's all kind of one. So I see a world, Olivia,
Yes.
where a person could go and listen to an author and a poet read her work and then dance out a few of
That's
those,
it.
right? I mean, I see a world where that fits quite beautifully. I see
Yeah.
a wellness retreat where someone like that could fit in. I mean, to me, like, you're 16.
Yeah. I forget
It's
that sometimes.
well, it's for me too. It's like sometimes, well, first, you know what, your whole generation blows my mind. You're an
Yeah.
amazing generation. You really are. You've had to be. There's
Yeah.
been so much stuff happen, that's um and I get it. We all, every generation, we stand on the shoulders of the generation before us, and that's what gives us the beautiful view. But you haven't, it is a really, my grandkids are in your generation, right? So of course I'm a little bit, maybe I'm a little biased there because they're the most amazing people in the world. But when I chat with you, it's like I see it. I'm like,
Yeah.
this is an amazing generation, and then you are like this shining light. I know this is 16. I don't mean to be just thinking, you're thinking, oh my god, shut up, please shut up. I'm remembering what it's like to be 16, and then
Oh
you're
my
probably just like, oh, for the love of, make her stop. But
gosh.
you're a rather remarkable human. And uh, so, okay, so there's more books coming, poetry readings.
Yes.
There will be so much. You'll be doing public speaking for, I'm sure, some time.
For sure.
Um, dance therapy. You'll be giving dance therapy for people.
Yeah.
You'll be dancing, and people will watch it. And I really believe that watching someone dance, much like when we hear a favorite song and it
Yeah.
releases something, I think your dance will do that.
Yeah. Like I was dancing on this beach this one time, and it was like a very busy beach. Um and then a bunch of people were watching. They all like pulled up their phones and started videoing, and they were like, it's just so beautiful, like to have this beautiful scenery and like dance on it. Just like they just felt so good after, and it made me feel good to like to do that for them as well. Like I was doing it for myself, but then to be able to connect with others too is like just so nice.
So beautiful. I love that. And what a gift for them
Yeah.
to just be going down to the beach that day, and all of a sudden this world-class speaker and author and ballerina is right there before them. It's magnificent. It is. It's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Oh man, but you've been doing things from even before, because I think your dad mentioned to me you had a business. And wasn't joy, like pure joy or something? Didn't you have a business
It's
even
like
before?
a small little business called Pure Joy, and I just made like tote bags and soaps and like bath products and stuff, and I sold it like,
You just did that.
and I sold it at like a summer market. It was really fun. I loved like being crafty and like making things like that. And like I'd always make a big mess. And I just remember my mom always telling me like, Olivia, like clean up your mess before you move on to the next thing. Because I'd always like start something and then move on to the next thing. So I like always have that voice now before I like move on to the next thing. It's just like those fun little things that
Yeah.
I just, yeah.
And that's beautiful because creative types, we were just, so funny. My husband and I were just talking about this last night. Like I'm really all in on something. And then the moment my gaze shifts, it's like that didn't even, now I'm on to the next thing. So
Yeah.
I get it. Your mom, what great words of wisdom to leave
Yes.
you with, Olivia, because it's true. Because you would have never finished your book if you didn't
Yeah,
do that.
exactly.
Right?
And I
Yeah.
like, there's a few months where I like stopped writing it and I just somehow like gave up. I was like, there's no way I'm finishing this book. It's too hard.
Yeah.
And then like I just like remembered how my mom would say to like never give up. And so I just kind of like knew she would be proud of me if I pushed through and like finished it. So I remember sitting in my room and just like typing so much and just like getting out all the last like things and like going back over everything and just because I knew like this had to be done. Like this is gonna help other people, and like that's what I want to do. And like my mom always told my brother and I how like um our kindness is gonna like change the world, and
Mm.
I thought how like beautiful that was. And so I used to be like, okay, I don't know about changing the world, but now I can see like that maybe we can.
Yeah, maybe we can. I think that absolutely we can. Absolutely kindness can change the world
Yeah.
because we've already seen what frenzy and judgment and fear does. It changes the world really quickly. And I believe strongly that if we come back with love and kindness
Mhm.
in this and just let that be our guide, can't go wrong if kindness is
That's
your
true.
guide.
Yeah. Yeah.
I bet what are some of your other favorite momisms? So she taught you
Uh,
kindness will change the world. Olivia, clean up your mess before you move
yes.
on.
Um, she always told me how she'd rather like stand alone and be right than stand in a crowd and be wrong,
Mm,
which is like takes a lot of courage and strength to be able to like to do that.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think when I like in reading the book, it really did feel like your mom was writing it with you.
Yeah.
Like there was places I felt like I got to know her. I felt like I wished I could have had a tea with her.
Mm. Oh, she'd be so fun to have a tea with. Yeah.
I could tell when I read some things, I thought, oh my gosh, what a beautiful yeah, just she comes through in the book. I'm
Definitely.
sure she comes through in you. I'm sure that people that
She does.
know it's just one of those things that I love that you talk about that. Like, where are you even now? And it's true, right? We think about like we know that, and then gone where? I love that when you ask that, gone where?
Yeah.
It's true. Hi, Rolo. You're okay, buddy.
Oh, Willow.
It does feel very much like that, but I just hope that I hope that you can see how much she was with you in that book. Yeah. It's funny too, people who do many brilliant things always think, oh, it's just so that you already had, how old were you? Like 12 or something when you started Pure Joy? How old were you?
Yeah, like probably like 14 actually.
Okay, so 14. Oh, you were already the ripe old age of 14 when you started your own business.
Yeah.
So So just to recap,
Yes.
you're 16 years old. You are a brilliant dancer and dance for therapy for yourself, but also for the therapy of others.
Yes.
You are a poet. You've written your own book. You've had your own business. I just want to suggest that possibly, Olivia,
Yes.
you are a rather bright, shining beacon of love and light already at a very young age. I can't even imagine what you are going to do. And your mom is so right. You are going to change the world. You are. You are going to change the world. And Rolo can lead the way.
You can bark all the way.
You can bark all the way. It'll be awesome. It'll clear a path for you.
Yes,
it's going to be
perfect.
wonderful. So you've got. So I hate that we're running out of time, and I do hope that you'll come back, that you'll be a guest again, because
Definitely, I would love to.
okay, that's awesome. Because there's so much that I want to ask you about, but before we do sign out, just anything that you would, how do people get a hold of you? How do people get a hold of your book?
Yes.
Let's start there. How do
Okay.
people get a hold of you? Do you want them to?
Of course.
And how do they get your book? I got mine off Kindle, but I really want a paper copy because I like to hold it in my hand. I like to be able to do that.
I can.
Oh, it's beautiful.
It's blurry.
There we go. Oh, I love it. Healing Our Wounded Hearts. That's gorgeous.
It's right now available on Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
And then also some of the proceeds will go to BC Palliative Care.
Okay.
To support them because my mom was being taken care of by palliative care for the last like few months of her life, and they did like an incredible job like taking care of her. So I wanted to like give back.
Absolutely. That's amazing. Now, is there a way for people to get the book not through Amazon? Like, do you have a place where is it in any bookstores yet?
Not yet.
It will be.
It will.
It will be.
Okay.
Or can they send away and you send them out copies?
Yeah,
Is there a way to do, is there something like, is there an email? And I can I'll have all this in the show notes. So,
okay.
that'll
I have
be
like a Instagram that like people can like message me on.
okay. Beautiful.
Yeah. Do you want me to say like the username thing? Or
You
like
can, and we'll also get it, and I'll make sure it's in the show notes because it's a little bit. But what is your
I can just send it to you. It's okay.
Okay, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's easier.
And it's also one of the I mean, Amazon, it's great. My books are on Amazon too, and also if I sell them on my own through my website or something, financially it is more helpful to the author.
Yeah.
So that's just something to consider. And plus that, signed copy, there'll be book signings, there'll be all of these things happening. It's going to be great. Oh my gosh. Well, Olivia, sadly, I have to say goodbye. Anything that you would like to say before we sign off? Is there anything that I haven't covered that you would like to share with anyone?
I guess just one thing is, I just want like everyone to know that it's okay to not be okay, and that like it's okay to feel anything that you're feeling, and that like grief deserves to be heard.
Wow. How do you follow that? Well, thank you, Olivia, for being here. I feel blessed to have spent even this little bit of time with you. When you go on to be the next whoever you're about to be, I feel blessed to have met you on this day. You're a gift. So go out and find her book. I'll have all the information will be in the show notes. This is Allie and Find Your Joy. Thanks so much for joining us, and we'll see you next time. Thanks so much for joining me today. If you found a piece of your joy in this episode, I would love to hear about what came up for you so that we can continue to grow the impact of this show. Thanks again. See you soon. And remember, find your joy.